Hi there, this is Donna Kozik. I'm the founder of MyBigBusinessCard.com and creator and leader of the original Write a Book in a Weekend program. I am also the lead editor of the Community Book Project, and I am doing this thing called Give Me 200 Words, where I give you a writing prompt and then I ask you to submit 200-ish words, and I pick one person and I give them feedback. So let's get started in today's session. I'm going to start with a post, going over a post that I created on Facebook. A lot of people in my Business Authors Association tell me that they want to know more about writing for social media or posting on social media for clients or leads. And so I thought I'd give you an example of what I do. So this is a little story I wrote after taking a trip to Portland, Oregon. And the reason I wrote this is to support my side business as a health coach. So I'm part of a program, a weight loss program. I've lost over 60 pounds, and I am coaching other people in the same program. And so this is a way that I generate interest in what I'm doing. So I wrote this piece, and it's not as pretty as it was on Facebook because some of the emoticons I used aren't showing up here in this Word document. So sorry about that. However, I want to bring your attention to a few things. So first of all, let me just read it, and then I'll talk about the things that I highlighted. So what a difference. Some in looks and a whole lot in experience. These are side-by-side trips to Portland to see my best friend, one from 2017 and one from last week. Let me show you the picture real quick. So this is the picture that was on the Facebook page. Whoop. What happened? Oh, I probably went to the next page. Yeah. That I posted. So one showing June 2017 and how I look there, and then one from June 2019 and how I looked there. So let's see here. Last week, when she saw me at the airport this time, she burst into tears. "You look so beautiful." I was crying. She was crying. It was quite the happy tears greeting, just like in the movies. Let me share with you the benefits of traveling 60 pounds lighter. Instead of trying to quietly ask the flight attendant to slip me a seatbelt extender, I didn't need one. Whoop, whoop. Instead of struggling to keep up or being the wet blanket on outdoor plans, I could walk greater distances faster. Also, I marveled at how easily I slid across the back seat of an Uber to get out on the sidewalk side. No awkwardness. That was different. And I spent hours in the amazing Powell's bookstore, up and down stairs without my legs and knees aching. This is different than last time when I had to search for a place to sit down. It also reminds me of a trip to Disneyland and California Adventure several years ago when my legs hurt so bad at the end of the day from walking and standing in line, I could think of nothing else. Now I'd say, bring it, Mickey. I'm so glad I started this program when I did so I can feel as good as I'm feeling now. Yes, I have a ways to go. However, I do believe I'll continue to see it through and see improvements like this because I, get this, am enjoying losing weight. That's new too. Today marks exactly 6 months until Christmas. If you'd like to get healthier and drop some pounds between now and then, hello family, hello travel. I'm happy to share more. Message me. All right, so just kind of going over some of the highlighted things here that make this piece work. In fact, I did get several leads after I posted this piece. One just like I posted it and 20 seconds later, someone's messaging me and they're like, okay, tell me more. So it can be a really effective way. So of generating leads for your business, no matter what your business is. I work with a lot of coaches. So a lot of coaches like and can use this technique for themselves. So what I did here is I set up a compare and contrast. One from 2017 and one from last week. So that coincides with the photo that I use. Also, I'm kind of laughing at myself because when I'm talking to my writers and they're writing books, I'm like, no all caps like this. I'm like, no emoticons in books like this. But on social media, yes, you can do it. And so I am a little bit reluctantly, but I'm getting into the groove. of adopting all caps once in a while and emoticons using, because that's what social media is all about. All right, then some of the airport burst into tears. You look so beautiful. I was crying. She was crying. It was quite the happy tears greeting. So she burst into tears. That could be like, why? You know, was she sad? And I didn't want the reader to think that she was upset about something. So then I immediately followed it with like, you look so beautiful. And then of course, I try to paint here in a few words, this kind of airport scene that's actually an echo from Love Actually, is what I was doing here, because people, my target audience, know and like that movie. So I was crying, she was crying, and then I mentioned just like the movies. Then I had 3 bullet points of what made traveling 60 pounds lighter better. Initially, when I was writing with this, it was becoming a little bit tortured because I was trying to compare and contrast 2017 to last week. And so I'd be like, in 2017, it was this way. Last week, it was this way. But it was just getting too convoluted. So instead, I just focused on the positive aspects of traveling 60 pounds lighter. When you're overweight, asking for a seatbelt extender on an airplane is one of the most, I mean, you get used to it, but most people, you know, it's just like kind of embarrassing. Okay. I don't get embarrassed about things like that, but you know, maybe a little bit. I was just kind of trying to tap into that feeling that so many of us feel when we have to do this. I guess it is embarrassing because you never know how the flight attendant's going to act. But I think that they're trained to kind of like, you know, slip you the seatbelt extender. Sometimes they're like, I have to wait until after I do the demonstration, all this. It's just kind of a thing. And for people who aren't overweight or never have to ask for a seatbelt extender, you're probably like, what the heck are you talking about? But for people who are overweight when you fly, you know what I'm talking about. So that's who I'm talking to, of course, in this piece. Then, and I talked about being able to walk faster, and then also the sliding across the back seat of an Uber. Another thing that people who are overweight realize that, you know, there's this awkwardness, and even getting out of a car can be awkward, and then like sliding across the seat, you kind of have to like heave yourself over, or I had to kind of heave myself over. And this was really something that was truly amazing to me, that I just like whoop, went right across this back seat of this Uber, and it was just like, wow, that's new, you know, that was different. So I mentioned that one because that definitely is something personally that I experienced and I wanted to share. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm done with the bullet. I like the bullet point things here, but then it's like I have to tell a little bit more of a story. And so I talked about without my legs and knees aching, joint pain is definitely a problem with people who are overweight, or a problem that I experienced. And then I wanted to bring up, PALS was one thing in Portland, but I wanted to bring up something that a lot of people would recognize, especially this time of the year as they're planning summertime trips and to theme parks and things like that. And this is a true story. I went to Disneyland and California Adventure several years ago, and I didn't even know if I was going to make it through the end of the day. I was so miserable, and the blood had just pooled in my legs and they ached, and it's all I could think of. And I mean, I might have to write more about this someday because it was such an experience to me. And it's really, this was several years ago, and it's still amazing to me that that didn't cause me to get on some kind of program to lose weight, because I was so miserable. But here I just kind of highlighted it, mentioned Disneyland. I couldn't think of anything else. And then I want to contrast that. So now I say, bring it, Mickey. And that again shows a sense of power, of empowerment with myself, and something quick to show you that, to show the reader that it's different than it was before. Quick way to do it. So then I write a little bit about the program. I always acknowledge when I'm writing about my health coaching that I have a ways to go, because I do. I'm probably maybe about a third of the way through my journey. And so I weighed well over 300 pounds when I started. So I always want to acknowledge that, so people don't think that, you know, this picture is my final. Sometimes I put like before and then during. instead of after. Like I'll put before for the words on the left-hand side and then during for the right-hand side, so they know that I know I still have a ways to go. And also that gives encouragement, to other people. It's like, oh, she's living her health out loud is the way we put it. And then I put how I'm enjoying losing weight, and this is true. And, get this, I put that in parentheses. So all of you can see in the social media posting, I break a lot more rules and add a lot more like, just punctuation marks and everything in all caps and the emoticons and all of that. And that's because that's what social media likes. And it really, what it does, it lends itself to its conversational tone. If I wrote this like I was putting it in a book, it's different. It doesn't catch that conversational tone that social media is all about. So that's why, I do things like this. And then I have my call to action at the end. And this is where I see a lot of people who are looking to get leads on Facebook kind of mess up, and where they just end it. And they might just, end it with "that's new too." And just, hoping that the reader of this or the friend on Facebook, whoever, will message them. But, hope is not a strategy, as they say. So you want to have an actual call to action, but it's lighter. It's not real in your face. So I wrote, today marks exactly 6 months until Christmas. These things, again, they didn't come through, but they're little Christmas trees. If you'd like to get healthier and drop some pounds between now and then, hello, family. Hello, travel. I'm happy to share more. Message me. I really like what I did here. And that is to remind people not only that Christmas is coming, but what comes with Christmas, saying, opening the door to your grandmother's house, walking into your grandmother, and it's like, hello, your grandmother's house, and the whole family is there. Hello, family. It's like, how nice would it be to be able to walk in and not be, or be the center of attention because how good you look. And then same with travel. Again, just traveling when you're overweight is uncomfortable, and how nice would it be to be able to travel without that. So a lot packed in here, as you can see. That's a little bit of background with this. Of course, if you're interested in hearing about my health program, just, reply to an email that I send you, or message me on Facebook is probably the easiest way. And I'll be happy to share that with you. Okay, so next up, I want to say a thank you to the contributors for week 3 of our Give Me 200 Words session here. So thank you to all these people who contributed. We had 2 weeks because of the holiday that you could contribute. So I really appreciate all these people writing in. And next, I picked one to review here with you. So let me fix this up a little bit. All right. So, by the way, if you are watching this live, I'm going to do a Q&A session after I end the recording. And so then if you have any questions about any of this, you can ask me then. So the author of this one, we're going with her pseudonym. It's Shadows Pub. And she said this is a popcorn draft, meaning a first draft of this. She wasn't submitting it as, a final work that she had polished up. And so I'm going to give a little bit of feedback here. Now, so 4 years ago, a 30-year friendship. And the reason I highlighted that is because time is usually one of the weaker elements in writing to start with, to start a paragraph with. Instead, you want to say something, you'd want to start with maybe the friendship came to an end. I had a friendship that came to an end 30 years ago, or maybe keep the 30 years here because that's important to signify how long the friendship is. But this 4 years ago, that doesn't matter as much. So a 30-year friendship came to an end. You might not even need 4 years ago. You might not even need that. I terminated it. Terminated is a kind of corporate word. I ended it is what I would probably put. For my own emotional health. That friend had nudged me into the fields of mortgages and bankruptcy, insolvency work. And I'm wondering if pushed might have been stronger, or that friend, I'm not sure if nudged me is exactly right. We get nudges sometimes without taking action. So what happened is, though, that she did not like this work, but she ended up doing it. I was doing them, but they were not what I felt pulled to do. I do like this opposite pulled versus nudged. So instead of like pushed, and then there's this push pull kind of going on with her career. And I like that, those kind of verbs used here. Then she says, terminating the friendship pulled me into doing what I truly wanted, writing. I like this, how it's at the end. You could put just a one-word sentence there. Actually, I don't know if it's like technically a sentence or not. You could put a colon after wanted and then have writing, and so it would kind of stand on its own like that, but I like how you did that. Then I had always wanted to write, even did some freelance writing in my younger days, like that toxic friendship. I had to rid myself of a toxic message from my mother. I forgot to mention the prompt for this was, if you could do anything else other than what you're doing, what would that be? So the thing is, this from my mother comes out of nowhere. We're focusing on this friendship, this toxic friendship for the first 5-6 lines. And then we have this thing from my mother. So I don't know if I would either make the whole thing about your mother, or I'd keep on to this friendship, so-called friendship kind of thing. So that from my mother comes from left field. The message that writing was pie in the sky. It was time for me to bake my pie and enjoy sharing it with others. I love that. Who hasn't heard that kind of thing sometimes from people who aren't supportive of us? So pie in the sky, and then she carries that analogy, or that takes that really what's kind of a cliche, but makes it more robust with, it was time to bake my pie. I like that a lot. I enjoy sharing with others. I may someday write a novel. Listen, if you're a writer and stuff, you want to be more declarative. I would just put, someday I will write a novel. Like, I would make this will. It would make the whole piece stronger, and you will seem stronger, Shadows Pub, to your reader. And I'm always talking about being a leader to your reader. So that's what that I will write a novel someday, perhaps. Not the perhaps, but that's a phrasing that I would recommend. being wishy-washy myself there, but something like that. Personal essays, articles, and short stories is where I am now. I want to be able to write well. I want to share words into messages with meaning for others. Every time I write a piece, I learn more of the craft. I learn more about shaping words into messages. I learn more about sharing. I really like this a lot. I like the repetitive use of I learn here. I think that's a really nice piece of writing, gives it good rhythm. Why a writer, she concludes? Because it is who I am and always should have been. Oh, the dreaded should there. I would just end it, because it is who I am, period. All right. Whoop. Sorry. And yeah, then get rid of this. That right there is what we call a strong ending. Okay. So Shadows Pub, take another swing at this. I'll send you a link so you can submit a revised entry if you'd like, and we'll see what you come up with. But I like where you're going here. One final little note, this is a popcorn draft, so a few typos and stuff doesn't matter, but look at how Word tells you. Okay, Word tells you that this is misspelled, so pay attention to those kinds of things. Or, oh, it's not misspelled. Bankruptcy. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Bankruptcy. Oh, maybe not. Oh, no, that's wrong. Oh, okay. Word was doing that because it was right next to this one. Okay, ignore that. Good job, Shadows Pub. Okay, all right. Finishing up here, announcements for this week. I'm playing around with the idea of having a study hall where, we always talk about how we don't have time to write, where we just put, I'm thinking maybe like 40 minutes in the Facebook group, or doing a Zoom meeting like this. And this would be for my private clients and for people who've taken part in the community book project or write a book in a weekend. So where it's like, oh, here's some writing time for you. There wouldn't be any training involved. It was actually just like, we tune in, we get together on Zoom. And if you want to say what you're working on, fine, you don't have to. And that's like, okay, we're gonna take 20 minutes now and write. And then just everybody, we're kind of like alone together doing it. And then check in 20 minutes, and then another 20-minute session. If you can stay for the second one, feel free. If not, that's okay. That kind of thing. I don't know if there's interest in that or not. If there is, let me know and I will conduct it. I might conduct one to see how it goes. Also, I'm going to be making a announcement about the Community Book Project, our 2020 Vision Edition. That's going to be the first big community book project, the big book, and also it's going to be the first inspirational book published in 2020. Watch for more information about that. It's going to include mentors. I'm going to tap some people as mentors in the project so we can really build up this sense of community with it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, so watch for some email and information about that. And then I am having a preview call for this on Wednesday, July 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 noon Pacific. I'll send you an email. If you're watching this, if you're on my email list for Give Me 200 Words, you'll receive an email about that. Okay, finally, here's next week's prompt. Next week's prompt, if you could spend the day with any celebrity, who would it be? What would you do? If you could spend the day with any celebrity, who would it be? What would you do? Let's go with that. It has to be a living celebrity right now. Nobody, from the past or, dead, that kind of thing. Instead, let's make it somebody today. If you could spend the day with any celebrity, who would it be? What would you do? It doesn't have to be a TV or movie star. It could be a business celebrity. It could be a fashion celebrity. So you pick the celebrity and talk about what you would do in 200 words-ish. All right, that sounds like fun. Until next time, this is Donna Kozik. I'm the founder of MyBigBusinessCard.com, creator and leader of the original Write a Book in a Weekend program, and also the lead editor for the Community Book Project. Look for our upcoming book project, 2020 Vision. In the meantime, thank you so much for taking part and give me 200 words. I will see you in the bookstore.